I just love the look of paper casting. Something as common and delicate as paper can become detailed dimensional sculpture by pressing wet pulp into a mold. A similar process is paper embossing. This stretches dry paper across a plate to form raised design. Now in this demo, I'm going to borrow a little bit from both processes and cast my own design. I don't need pulp or a press, just some special paper, some water, and some hand pressure. I can make a deckled edge design that looks like cast paper, only much easier. First, gather materials for a collagraph. This is usually a printmaking process that involves arranging objects on a surface and coating them with ink, but we'll get to that later. I have a few ideas here. First of all, I'm going to use a surface called Stick-It Craft Felt. This has the adhesive already on this. Now I could glue it onto a cardboard backing, but this is just so easy and everything sticks so well to it. Gather materials such as twine, perhaps, wires. See how easily they stick to the surface? I could use buttons. I could use wood pieces, perhaps. I could use beads, perhaps some cardboard letters. Oh, the list just goes on and on. Almost anything that's semi-flat will work. Here's a collagraph arrangement that I've already completed. For best results, I've coated the surface with a clear acrylic medium to seal it, and then allowed it to dry. Now you could also use acrylic paint or water down some glue and brush over it. Now let me demonstrate the casting process. This is masa paper. It's made entirely of pure cellulose, wood pulp. It's very strong and stands up to water. By crumpling the paper, the sizing in the sheet is broken and it will produce a crackle texture with watercolor. I'll demonstrate that after the casting is complete. Place the crumpled paper in a cup of water and allow a few seconds for it to soak in. Squeeze the water out, makes it a little less messy. I'm going to open up the sheet again and lay it across the collagraph materials. Starting in the center, we'll use a damp sponge to press the paper gently against the collagraph materials. A firm nylon brush is also helpful in pushing it against some of the small crevices and in the corners. Always push in towards the center, and it's very important to keep the paper wet so you can apply some more water over the top if it starts to dry. And if a crack or tear does form, don't worry about it. It can be covered quite easily. Now a second sheet of masa paper can be applied directly over the first. Once again, keep it wet. Now depending on how sturdy you would like the finished piece to be, a third piece could be added as well. To finish, squeeze a little bit of glue over the top and work it against the wet surface, either with a brush or with the sponge. The water and friction has actually worked the fibers of the paper together. So the glue isn't really necessary to hold the paper together, but it will seal it and give it some strength. Now it will need to dry for a few hours or overnight. You could place it in front of a fan or in a sunny location that will speed up the drying time if you'd like. I did have a couple of small holes that were formed, and to fix that, I'm going to take just a small piece of masa paper and apply it in the area that I need to cover those tears. Once it's dry, you can pull it gently away from the collagraph. This has picked up a little bit of color from the objects, and that's okay. This could be enjoyed as a blind embossing, just simply with the white pieces that are here, or it could be enhanced with watercolor washes. Let me just show you how the texture of the masa paper comes out with the watercolor. See the cracks? It's really kind of a beautiful effect. Now I could make a few more castings from the collagraph, and then I could roll ink across it and make a print like the one I have up here on the table. I love it when I can get two projects from one. The materials, instructions, and teaching standards can be found at dickblick.com. Thanks for joining me.